September 15th, 1995, 12:10 a.m. We pulled into a gas station on a deserted highway in rural Ohio. My mother walked into the restroom. What walked out wasn't the same person. What I witnessed that night defies explanation, and the man who took her just vanished into the darkness. The stories you're about to hear come from real people. People who've experienced things they can't explain. Things that shattered their sense of safety. This story was sent to me by Michael Torres, now 40 years old. He's given me permission to share what happened to his family that night. Every detail you're about to hear, he swears is true. It was September 15th, 1995, 11:47 p.m. My family was driving through southeastern Ohio, heading to my aunt's house in West Virginia for the weekend. I was 11 years old, wearing a faded denim jacket my dad had given me with a tear in the left sleeve. My father, Robert, was driving our 1989 Buick Century, dark blue. The fabric on the ceiling was starting to sag. My mother, Linda, sat in the passenger seat. She was 38, wearing a cream-colored sweater and jeans. My little sister, Emma, was 7. She'd fallen asleep 2 hours earlier, curled up with her stuffed rabbit. We'd been on the road since 6:30 that evening. The rain had started around 10 p.m., light at first, then steady. The highway was nearly empty, just the occasional semi-truck passing in the opposite direction, spraying water across our windshield. Dad's cassette tape was playing softly. James Taylor, Fire and Rain. Mom was quiet, staring out the window at the darkness. Then she shifted in her seat and said, "Robert, I really need to stop soon." Dad nodded. "Next gas station. Should be one coming up in a few miles." At 12:08 a.m. we saw it. A single yellow sign emerging from the fog ahead. Gas, food, restrooms. The letters were faded, some of the bulbs burned out. Dad slowed down and took the exit. The off-ramp curved through thick trees before opening up to the station. It was a small rectangular building. White paint peeling. Windows dark except for the fluorescent lights inside. 2 fuel pumps under a metal canopy. Both looked ancient. The parking lot was almost completely empty. 2 semi-trucks were parked at the far end near the tree line. Dark, engines off. No other cars. No movement. Dad pulled up close to the front entrance, parking under the canopy so Mom wouldn't have to walk through the rain. "I'll pump the gas," he said. "You go ahead." Mom opened her door. The interior light came on. She looked tired. She pulled her jacket closed and stepped out into the damp air. I watched her walk toward the glass doors. Something felt off. I can't explain it. Just a feeling, a pressure in my chest. I unbuckled my seatbelt. "Where are you going?" Dad asked. "I want a candy bar," I said. He reached for his wallet, pulled out $2 and handed them to me. "Be quick." I opened my door and followed Mom inside. The doors made an electronic beep when I pushed through. Inside it was warmer. Stale air, smelled like old coffee and cleaning chemicals. The fluorescent lights overhead buzzed quietly. One of them flickered. To my left was the main counter. A small TV was on behind it, volume low. Some late-night infomercial. But there was no clerk. The register was closed. A handwritten sign taped to the counter said, "Back in 5 minutes." To my right was a narrow hallway, dim, leading toward the back of the building. A sign hung from the ceiling. "Restrooms." I could see Mom disappearing down that hallway. I stood there for a moment looking around. 3 aisles of snacks and drinks, mostly empty shelves. The place looked like it was barely hanging on. A newspaper vending machine near the window. The headline was about the O.J. Simpson trial. I walked slowly toward the candy aisle. That's when I heard it. A sound, muffled, coming from the hallway, like something heavy being dragged. I turned around, and that's when I saw him. He came out of the hallway, walking slowly. He was massive, at least 6'5", maybe 6'6", broad shoulders, thick arms. He was wearing a stained gray work shirt, sleeves rolled up, dark pants covered in dirt or grease, no shoes. His feet were bare, filthy, but that's not what made me freeze. It was what he was carrying. My mother, in his arms, like she weighed nothing. Her arms hung limp, her head tilted back. Her eyes were open, staring directly at me, wide, unblinking. Her mouth slightly open, like she was trying to scream but couldn't. She wasn't moving, not struggling, just limp. The man didn't look at me, didn't acknowledge I was there. He walked with this calm, deliberate pace, like he was carrying a bag of supplies, not a person, not someone's mother. He moved toward a side door in the corner of the lobby. A door I hadn't even noticed before. Gray, unmarked. Emergency exit written in faded red letters. My brain couldn't process what I was seeing. Time seemed to slow down. I could hear my own heartbeat, the buzz of the lights, the rain outside. And then my body moved. I screamed, "Dad! Dad! Help!" My voice cracked. I screamed again, louder. The front doors burst open, glass rattling in the frames. My father came running in. His eyes scanned the room instantly. He saw me. He saw the man. He saw my mother. His face changed. I'd never seen that expression before. Pure rage mixed with terror. He didn't yell. He didn't hesitate. He just ran. Full sprint. His shoes squeaked on the linoleum. The man heard him coming. He stopped. Turned slightly, but still didn't look directly at my father. Dad hit him hard. Shoulder first. The impact knocked them both against the wall. Mom's body shifted, but the man held on. Then something strange happened. The man didn't fight back. He just stopped. He slowly, carefully leaned forward and placed my mother on the floor, gently, like he was putting down something fragile. Then he stood up, stepped back, pushed open the emergency exit door, and walked out into the rain. The door closed behind him with a soft click. He was gone. Dad dropped to his knees beside Mom. "Linda? Linda, can you hear me?" She was breathing. Fast, shallow breaths. Her eyes were still wide, staring at the ceiling. She was shaking. Not just her hands, her whole body. Dad looked at me. "Michael, get back to the car, now, start the engine." I didn't move. I couldn't. "Now, Michael." I ran. Back through the lobby, out the front doors, into the rain. Emma was awake in the back seat, crying. "Where's Mom?" "What's happening?" "It's okay," I lied. "Everything's okay." I climbed into the driver's seat. I'd never driven before. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold the keys. I turned them. The engine started. I kept my foot on the brake. Through the windshield, I could see Dad helping Mom up. She could barely stand. He had his arm around her, supporting her weight. They came out through the doors. Dad opened the back door and helped Mom in. Emma grabbed onto her immediately. Dad got in the driver's seat, pushed me over to the passenger side. He didn't even bother with seatbelts. He threw the car in reverse, then peeled out of the parking lot. We didn't stop. Not until we crossed the state line into West Virginia 45 minutes later. We stayed at a highway rest stop for almost 2 hours. Dad called the police from a payphone. Mom didn't say anything for the first hour. She just sat there staring ahead, holding Emma. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. This is what she told us. "The light switch didn't work when I entered the restroom. I thought it was just broken. I used my lighter to see. The bathroom was small. 2 stalls, a sink. I went into the first stall. As I closed the door, I heard breathing. Someone was in the stall next to me. I called out, 'Hello?' No answer. Just breathing. Then the door to my stall opened. Even though I'd locked it, he was standing there. This massive man, blocking the entire doorway. Before I could scream, his hand covered my mouth. His other arm wrapped around me. He squeezed. I couldn't breathe. I tried to fight, but he was too strong. He whispered in my ear, "Don't make a sound. Don't move. I will kill your children if you make a sound." Everything went black for a few seconds. When I came to, he was carrying me. I tried to move, but my body wouldn't respond. I could see. I could hear. But I couldn't move. Couldn't speak. I saw Michael in the lobby. I tried to scream, but nothing came out. Then Robert was there. And then I was on the floor, and the man was gone. 2 Ohio State Highway Patrol officers met us at the rest stop. They took statements from all of us. Dad gave them the exact location. The gas station was called Junction 44 Fuel Stop, Route 7 near the town of Chesapeake. The officers drove out there immediately. They called us back 3 hours later. The station was closed. Doors locked. No one inside. No clerk, no customers. They found the side exit door. It led to a dirt access road behind the building. Fresh tire tracks in the mud. They looked like they came from a van or truck. The tracks led to Route 7, then disappeared on the pavement. They searched the restroom. Nothing unusual. Light switch worked fine for them. No signs of struggle. No fingerprints on the stall door. One officer told Dad, "Looks like whoever was working there closed up early and left." But that didn't explain what we'd seen, what Mom had experienced. The case went nowhere. We never went back to that gas station. We took a different route home. The police never found the man. No arrests were made. No similar incidents were ever reported in that area. At least not that we know of. Mom developed severe anxiety after that night. She couldn't be alone in public restrooms for years. Still can't, actually. Emma had nightmares for months. Dad became hypervigilant, always checking exits, always aware of who's around us. As for me, I'm 40 years old now. I have kids of my own, and I think about that night constantly. What was that man planning to do with my mother? Where was he taking her? How did he know we'd stop there? Was it random? Or was he waiting? The thing that haunts me most is how calm he was. Even when Dad attacked him, he didn't fight. He just left, like he'd been interrupted during a routine task. And he'd simply try again another time, with someone else, somewhere else. I submitted this story because I needed to tell someone, anyone who'll listen, because somewhere out there that man still exists. And on September 15th, 1995, we crossed paths with him. My mother survived, but I wonder how many others didn't. If you have a true story like this, something that happened to you that you can't explain, submit it in the comments below. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one.